There's still people filing in. It's big concessions night. How many, is this the first movie for everybody or no? Okay.
You guys have been here this weekend otherwise? That's great.
This is your first movie ever?
I can't believe it. I'm Bill, that's Sean, that's Chris. We have been doing a little Rewatchables Film Festival all weekend. It's been great. I saw Sean almost come to tears today as 400 and something people were here watching The Verdict, and none of them had seen it, basically. And we asked after how many have seen it, and all the hands went up, but I thought Sean was just going to start sobbing.
Thank you for supporting movie theaters. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, how many of you have seen The Town? All right. Great.
Has anybody not? Pretty good number. Only
really?
Women, though.
You?
It's all women.
Like you've seen it a few times. Jesus. All right, The Town. It's at 15 years this year.
Is it really? Oh my God.
Affleck, the movie after the Affleck comeback movie. So he does Gone Baby Gone, directs it. He's basically resuscitated, but not as a leading man. And then this comes out, and he does the whole thing, and it's based on Prince of Thieves. And there's some Heat stuff in here.
Yes, there's Heat stuff.
Pieces of different little Boston movies, and I think it's one of the most beloved action movies of the last 20 years. So let's start there. Do you agree, CR?
Beloved, yeah. I mean, it's definitely one of my most beloved thrillers. I mean, I think action's gotten kind of taken by the whole John Wick. I don't know why I pronounced that French.
So
John
action
Wick.
thriller?
Jacques Wick.
John Wick and like that kind of action movie has sort of taken over the genre, but I think this is like one of the best crime thrillers of the last 20 years, for sure.
What do you think, Sean? Now I hesitate to ask.
Oh, heel.
Sean's
Fennessey.
been a heel all weekend.
I've been turning heel.
It's in New York. The Mets season started. He's sticking his chest out a little.
Settle down. I love this movie. I think it's great. I think it was a really smart idea that he came back. You know, he emerged as a director with a small drama starring his brother, set in a place that he was really familiar with, and then he wanted to level up a little bit and took a lot of very clear inspiration from Michael Mann, Martin Scorsese, you know, the 50s and 40s Warner Brothers gangster movies that he really liked.
Eddie Coyle
in the 70s, and just made a really grown-up, mean, fun thriller, you know, heist movie. So yeah, it's great. I mean, and then pivots after this to Forever Glory and Best Picture.
Do you think it catches Boston at an interesting moment because the whole Rebecca Hall, not to give it away to the people who haven't seen it, the Rebecca Hall part is a little bit about like how Boston is changing a lot?
I thought he caught us in a moment where we just wouldn't stop winning titles.
Yeah.
And
that was kind of Chris Paul to DeAndre Jordan right there. I don't know what I was expecting.
Is this pre or post Spygate?
Well, Affleck and Damon, like just being able to survive as A+ list stars was almost like a title. Now, I think, look, he I think felt a ton of pressure with this movie because he knew what the stakes were. They did it with Good Will Hunting, but this was a little different. He's gone back. He's the star of this. He's the shepherd of it, and he was really passionate about getting the accents right, getting the locales right. Like they film in Old Sully's in this movie that no longer exists, sadly, in Charlestown. But the locations, the people, the extras, the people they use in this, it's probably the most attentive to being a Boston movie.
What is the sort of mythology around the movie about this being the kind of bank robbery capital of the world? Was that something that you were aware of when you were here?
No, I think that's made up. I hate to break it to you guys, but it's like, what was in Den of Thieves? They were like, in LA, a bank robbery every 90 seconds.
And I'm like,
nah, I'm pretty sure that's not
that
true.
means I probably statistically would have been robbed in a bank by this point, yeah.
One thing I was thinking with this movie, because we did Good Will Hunting for the live show on Thursday, and Damon's the focus of that movie, even though they wrote it together, and Affleck's in the supporting role and has a couple good parts. But it really is interesting if Damon had been the Jem character in this movie. And I think Damon, I did a podcast together with them 2 years ago, and Damon, like, he brings it up all the time, that he can't believe he wasn't Jem. And then Affleck's response is, dude, you're making like $20 million a year doing Bourne movies. Like, you couldn't be Jem. But it would have been interesting if Damon had been the Jem part, and yet Renner is unbelievable in this movie.
This is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, because this is still in an era where he had done Hurt Locker already, right?
Yeah.
He had not gotten the Mission Impossible franchise that he was supposed to get when Tom Cruise is like, I'm still okay.
Yeah.
I'm only 55. I can keep jumping out of stuff. But he's remarkable in this. It's kind of like watching a really like wild-eyed young De Niro type performance from the 70s when you see him. His Gem character is amazing.
How many of you out here are from here around here? We all know a gem, right? They're out there. It's like
There might even be, you guys might think you know a gem. You might be the gem.
Yeah, you might be the gem. It's 1:30 in the morning. It's like, where's Jim? Oh no, he's getting shots. Uh-oh. Oh, Jim's got that look in his eye. So you have him, and then you have Blake Lively, controversial figure in the 2020s right now, playing Shine's mom.
Yeah.
And we did the town.
She has a name, Bill. It's Krista, isn't it? Like
Chris, yeah. We did the town Rewatchables, and it became one of the most legendary ones we did because Russillo was just on one. And by the way, he refused to do the town live. He doesn't ever want to do it again. It's like when the Stones played Altamont once, and they never want to do it again.
Same thing. A guy got killed during the pod too. So.
But she's amazing in this movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's a weird career to assess because she's been all over the map. But I thought this was the most interesting character she ever played.
Do you think it was the closest she's gotten to her real self on film?
No, but I do think she like threw herself into this role in a crazy way. I mean, her and Hamm in this movie are kind of like what takes it up like the extra 9 or 10%. I mean, obviously Affleck, Hall, and Renner are great, but Hamm is hamming it. He's loving life in this movie, and she does a really convincing job as just kind of a glassy-eyed, lady looking for love.
Yeah, the stay away but you can't, which is the vibe she has the whole time. Hamm is in Mad Men at this point, and Mad Men is one of the most critically acclaimed movies or TV shows, and he's figuring out, how do I not just be Mad Men Don Draper guy? And this was his first foray into that. And he's good. And now he's had a 15-year run of cool parts like this. But there was still a Don Draper shadow with him in 2010.
Seems like a smart move, though, to just get associated with good projects that were not just Draper clones.
Yeah.
But the character I relate to most in this movie is Pete Postlewaite's character.
Oh, go ahead, CR.
It gave her a little taste.
The flower shop guy. Yeah. The Boston stuff is unbelievable in this movie. Charlestown, the way they use it, the way they use the other side of the hill, some of the shots of it. But the most impressive thing to me is, because like when I was living here in the mid-'90s, they did Blown Away with Tommy Lee Jones and Jeff Bridges. In the end of that movie, they're in Beacon Hill just going downhill for like 5 minutes. And it's like, there's literally no part of Boston that you could go downhill for this long. And they're just doing it, and it's going down. And they just took a lot of liberties, and I think it made a lot of people mad. There's a North End, spoiler alert, they're gonna escape the North End at one point in this movie. And the way they use the one-way streets and get out and get to the bridge, it's just like perfect. You always know where you are in this movie, which I think is a really hard thing to pull off. We always talk about that with action movies. Does the viewer have a sense of, where am I? And this one just nails it every time.
Yeah, I think if you're not from here, it makes sense. And then if you're from here, you get a little bit of like a bit of pride. It kind of reminds me, we showed Heat last night, and it was really cool watching it on the big screen and seeing all these streets that we get stuck in traffic on that Michael Mann characters are never in traffic on. Right. But it's the North End part is especially true here.
What's the best Affleck movie for you, where he's the lead?
I love Gone Girl.
Yeah.
I think Gone Girl is like the ultimate summation of a movie star knowing exactly what's appealing and also really funny about himself, and just being embarrassed in the way that he is, but having such a great sense of humor about it. But I think he's kind of good in everything, even the bad, like the bomb and Phantoms, obviously. That's a Kevin Smith joke for all the real heads out there. I think he's actually weirdly a very classical movie star in that, like, he's kind of the same in every movie in some ways, and that's not a shot. It's like, so you go to the movie, Denzel is like this. You show up and you're like, I want to see Denzel. Like when you're going to an Affleck movie, we're just talking about The Accountant too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty fired up. Like worst case scenario, it will be a good time at the movies, and there's something dependable about that.
Yeah, his hair changes. That's probably the biggest thing. But
Little bit.
he goes, The Town in this one goes the high fade, basically. Argo, and then Gone Girl, where he's the lead or one of the leads of three really powerful. And by the time that Gone Girl Batman range came out, the comeback was complete, much like Tom Brady against the Atlanta Falcons.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm just torturing Sean now. Yeah, remember that, Sean?
I don't
28
root
to
for the
3.
Falcons. I don't care about those clowns.
Just Tom Brady, one of your favorite athletes.
What happened? What did he do? What did
He
Brady
came
do?
back. They won the Super Bowl.
No kidding.
The Town. So heist movies, top 3, top 4. Heat 1.
Heat's definitely one.
Heat's 1 and 2.
Can I? Well, before you answer that, let me ask you both something, because you guys are the masters of the heist movie.
Yeah, we sure are.
We watched Heat last night. That's a classic LA movie. This movie owes a lot to Heat. It's a very knowing homage to Heat in a lot of ways, but it's making it a Boston movie. I feel like you could just do a series that's just like Cleveland, but heists, Sacramento.
great.
But
Approved.
I feel like those
should-
movies should be funded by chambers of commerce. you
Right.
know? Yeah.
Wouldn't it be good for the city? And then 8 years later, dicks like us could get on stage and be like, this is a great day for Cleveland when...
You could see Cleveland's traffic patterns are very faithfully replicated in this.
Doesn't it I feel like studios should just greenlight that now.
I think Hollywood thinks this way, which is why sometimes we get Den of Thieves, where they're just like, hey, it's been a couple years since the last good heist movie.
The problem
Let's
is
go.
he was like, we're going to make Heat again in California again.
Right.
Just
And we're
turn
gonna
the
wear
dial.
hockey
do
masks
Detroit,
when
do
we do the
Cleveland,
robbery,
do
yeah.
Kansas City. Well, CR and I talk a lot about who we'd be in the heist. And I would just really want to be the driver, is where I've landed. CR wants to be the guy who jumps on the counter and says, we're not here for your money, we're here for the bank's money. So who do you want to be, Sean? Mastermind?
No, Wayne Grow.
Oh, Wayne Grow, okay.
Sean would be the guy who goes straight for the bank manager and is like, give me the key. No,
Yeah.
let it bleed. Yeah.
Last thing, this movie uses, I won't spoil it because some people haven't seen it, but a true institution of Boston. And it uses it in a way that is kind of stunning, but now that you know what happens in the movie, it's not as stunning, but in 2010, it was stunning.
It's also not stunning because you guys didn't want to pay Mookie Betts, and there's probably a direct correlation between these events.
2 home runs yesterday.
CR, after what's happened with Joel Embiid and Paul George,
Who? Yeah.
come on. He's feeling himself after the Eagles Super Bowl. All right, so this is The Town. It's a little over 2 hours. It's fantastic. I'm jealous of everybody who has not seen this yet. Thanks to everybody at the Coolidge Corner Theater for helping us out at the festival.
This has been really awesome. Thank
Yeah,
you
it's
guys
been
so
awesome.
much for coming out.
Thank you very much.
We love watching these things. Enjoy the movie.